let us consider how God wants the Christian life to be lived on this earth in the power of His Spirit. And so we're talking about the Spirit-filled life on display. And listen to Romans, as he says in Romans 12:16, live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. I used to hear a little rhyme that said, to dwell above with saints we love, that will be glory. But to dwell below with saints we know, well, that's another story. A little crummy about the poetry of it, but it's really got a truth that living with saints, living with people down here below is one of life's greatest challenges. To get along, to be people of peace in a world that, according to Galatians 5, the flesh in us, the sin principle in us, there's 8 words he uses in Galatians to say that we're contentious, we're hateful, we're jealous, we're envious, we're resentful, there's murder, there's hate. I'm telling you, the human heart does not live in harmony with itself, let alone with other people. And yet, for the Christian, we've been called to a life of harmony. And here he's saying, we live even in harmony with Jew, Gentile, white, black, overcomes all racial, gender boundaries. And here he says, it ought to even overcome social stratification, a caste system. No, we're not called to just run with our category of people. We're to stoop, run with any category, don't look down on anyone, because we become people lovers because of the love of God and the Spirit of God working in our hearts. Do not be proud. Be willing to associate with other people, no matter their position. Sometimes in the early church, you could have a man that was a slave owner that was in church with the slave he owned, perhaps, because there was about 100 million slaves in the Roman Empire. They were everywhere. And so he tells us, don't be class-oriented, don't be gender-oriented, don't be racially oriented. Love people. Just love people. And to do this, it's interesting. He says, you can't be a proud person. Proud people are always stuck on themselves, are always looking to go up. They want to run with people that can promote them. And he said, don't be conceited. He goes on to say, and when he picks up in verse 17, do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. Revenge is a terrible, terrible thing. I think of the Hatfields and the McCoys. They can't stop killing each other's family because bloodthirst in the ancient Near East was blood revenge. It was an eye for an eye. And by the way, when you hear an eye for an eye, that was gracious, because in that part of the world at that time, every offense demanded death penalty. But when God gave the law, He put boundaries. Don't go any further than the offense. If they plucked out your eye, you can pluck out theirs. That was gracious boundaries. So he's saying here, don't repay anybody evil for evil. You leave vengeance in God's hands. We've not been called to get even. We've been called to love people. That's our mission. That's our challenge.